everyone, Angela here. Life can be challenging. Trust me, I get it. However, I have learned we can either view the opposition or value the opportunity. Ponder on the problem or praise the potential. Focus on the situation or find the solution. Despite the current circumstances you're going through, I invite you to join me today as we embark on a grand adventure to discover the reasons why it's a good time to be you.
Here's the encourager herself, making every day a good day, Angela Henderson.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome. We are so glad you are here today. Thank you for being with us. Turn to your neighbor and say, it's a good time to be you. And it is. Thank you so much. You know, I am super excited to be able to introduce our guests for today's show. Very special to Keith and myself. It's our son, Lance, and his beautiful bride, our daughter-in-love, Madia Henderson. And they're going to be with us today to share their story of how they dated God's way. You know, there's many different ways that we can get out there and date in the world today. But they opted to do it in a very way that God had intended for them to do it. Two single adults coming together. You know, when God created Adam, He created Adam because He desired relationship. But He also knew that Adam needed someone like him in order to relate. And so it was from Adam that He created Eve. So it was from the heart of Adam, the rib of Adam, and the need of Adam that God created a helpmate. And I want to encourage each one of you out there who is looking for that special someone. God has created and designed something very unique for you. And He will bring that person to you in many different ways, in many various forms. And so don't give up, but keep putting your hope and your trust in God. So don't go away. We're going to be right back, and we'll introduce to you Lance and Madia Henderson. See you in a few. Hey, as a leader, you are a broker of gifts. So whether you are a professional, a business owner, or a ministerial leader, I would love to accompany you in transforming your ordinary staff into an extraordinary team through leadership development, team building, and personal discovery. You will learn the amazing gifts, skills, and talents that each of you have and know how to bring them together in order to do great things. So reach out to me at angeladhenderson.com and let's begin your amazing adventure today. And remember, it's a good time to be you. Welcome back, everyone. Now let's give a warm welcome to Lance and Madia Henderson. Lance and Madia, come on out. Welcome. Okay, these are my babies here. My babies. Give them big hugs here. Come on, have a seat. Oh, love you guys. So excited to be able to share this time with y'all and share this stage. For those of you who might not know, Lance and Madia have always been so faithful in just helping us in some of our shows and helping to get things ready. And now it's just an honor to be able to bring you guys up on the stage so you can share your beautiful story about how you met and what all God has done in your lives up to this point. So let's just start at the beginning. Like, where does this story begin with the two of you, and where are you both from? So just let our audience know.
So I'm born and raised here in Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah. Madia is from Medellin, Colombia, South America. And we both met in July of 2017 at North Palm Church. And we started dating in August of 2017.
So this is actually an anniversary month then for you guys, as far as like when you first met, the month of July. Yes. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. Do you remember the day or anything?
I think it was her birthday, actually, July 25th, which is when I reached out to her just to tell her, hey, happy birthday. And then it kind of just took off from there.
Yeah, that is really cool. Well, you know, the year 2017 is awesome because the number 20 represents redemption and 17 represents victory. And so even from the very beginning, God had already established the victory as your outcome where the relationship was concerned. And we know that there was a lot of things that took place, though, from that first moment you met until you walked down the aisle. So, but with that being said, what was life like for you, Madia, in your home country, you know, being away and coming into the States?
Yeah, so as Lance mentioned, I am from Medellin, Colombia, South America. I grew up there. All my family is from Colombia. When I finished high school, I decided to go to law school. I graduated from law school in 2015, and after that, I decided to work with a law firm that works with medical malpractice. That was basically my life in Colombia.
Very good. And so, what about your upbringing? How was that?
So in 2014, when I was in law school, the Lord started to tell me that He was going to bring me to the United States, that He had a plan for me here, and I was going to live here. And I decided to believe, even though my family didn't like the idea. Because
So were you very close to your family?
Yeah, I am very, very close to my family, and it's very important for me what they think, and if I wanted them to approve if I was going to make like a big decision. And I knew they didn't like the idea about me coming to the United States because I wouldn't be able to practice law, and also I didn't speak English. Back then I didn't have the finances, but I just decided to trust the Lord. And then in 2016, I had the opportunity to come with a program. An au pair is like a living babysitter that stays with a host family that need someone to watch their children. So I decided to come and do that and serve a family watching their kids.
Now, how different of a career change is that, going from being an attorney to becoming a nanny, and watching other people's children? Was that a hard adjustment for you as far as like knowing, okay, I've been to school, I've done this, I've done that, and now I'm babysitting? So was that difficult?
Honestly, I just did it because the Lord told me. When I was working with that law firm, the Lord told me that it was the time that I should just quit my job and come here. So I did it. It was hard, obviously. There are many things that were like different when I came here, but it was part of the process. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I was trusting and obeying God.
Yes. Well, there's nothing like it when you know you're in the perfect will of the Lord.
Yes.
And our lives are meant to glorify Him. And so even though we make these accomplishments in our lives, when it comes time to lay those things down in order to be able to continue following the will that He has for us, then there is joy in that.
Yes.
It's not like, this is so, such a horrible burden that I bear. But we do it with joy, and that was, so obvious in your life and in your story. Things and accomplishments really don't matter unless it's for Him. And so how beautiful is that? Well, we're getting ready to take a commercial break, and so when we come back, we're going to hear the rest of this story about how you two actually met. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Check out my new book on AngelaDHenderson.com and take a journey to discover the many reasons why it's a good time to be you. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and I get the pleasure to just introduce to you my beautiful family, my son Lance and his wife, and our daughter-in-law, Madia Henderson, and they are sharing with us about dating God's way. And so we've got Madia here from Colombia, and that's where we left off at. So Lance, you had mentioned earlier that you guys met at church. So tell me, what was that first date like? How did that even evolve?
So we were texting a lot, and she ended up going on a vacation to Boston with her host family, and she was going to be gone for about 2 weeks.
All right.
So it wasn't until 2 weeks later to where we actually had our first date. So we agreed whenever she would come back from her vacation, we would go out and, just kind of talk and get to know each other even more. And so I took her out to a Japanese steakhouse because she loves steak and she loves sushi as well.
She's a good fit for our family.
Yeah.
We're all carnivores.
So I wanted to honor her. And then we also went out for ice cream because Madia loves ice cream. So that was what our first date was like. I was super nervous as well. It's so easy whenever you're texting somebody, or even because we FaceTimed as well, and FaceTiming it seemed like it was nothing, no big deal. But when you actually get in person with this person that you like, it's just like start fumbling over your words, and you just don't know what to do.
Yes.
So yeah, that was our first date.
So Madia, what was your impression of Lance, during this time?
Okay, so something happened before the actual day that we went out. And it's when the Lord started to tell me that I was going to come to the United States. He also told me that my future husband was here. So I had that expectation. The Lord even started to tell me little things about like how he looked, and he was an American guy and everything. And I knew that was crazy, but I was just trusting God and writing down everything that he was telling me. And then during that summer in 2017, the Lord started to tell me that I was about to meet him. And then one day during the church service, the Lord told me that he was the one when he was playing the drums. So when he texted me on my birthday, I was like, okay, this is about to happen. So then it was like very exciting to, spend that time with him and get to know him better.
That is good. So now you guys have had your first date, trying to get to know each other better. You're excited because God's already given you a word that Lance is not aware of, but you are fully aware of it. So it reminds me so much of Lance's dad and me. I knew on our second date I was going to marry him, but I did not tell him that because I didn't want to scare him. And so here Lance is. He's stumbling over his words, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right. So was it love at first sight? Was it just smooth sailing after that? And you guys, even though Madia had a knowing, what was going on here?
Definitely wasn't love at first sight. We really liked each other a lot, But there's no such thing as love at first sight. There may be such a thing as infatuation at first sight, but never love at first sight. But anyways, so everything was actually smooth sailing. Everything was going great. And then Madia started to notice my true colors. There were some things that I was doing that I thought was okay, but in reality, they weren't. And so she started finding out all these things about me that was quite different. And she started to point out those things. And I didn't really like that. I was feeling very judged and felt attacked, and I didn't know if this was going to work out or not.
So you weren't feeling the love at that moment?
No, not at all.
Well, I don't think there are too many people who do like certain things, being pointed out, whether it's a flaw, a character issue, or whatever. But God is always working in the midst for our good. So, Madia, what was happening then when Lance started kind of resisting maybe some of the subtle suggestions or things that you were bringing to his attention?
Yeah, I have to recognize that I didn't say it like the perfect way. I could say it with more love and trying to help him and encourage him. But I know I was a little judgmental, even though I knew those were things that we had to work for their relationship. But yep, he wasn't feeling very good, and then he let me know that he didn't like the way that I was telling him all those things.
Now, what was some things, if you care to share, that maybe she was pointing out that maybe she felt like you needed to work on?
So my relationship with God was kind of dwindling. I wasn't reading my Bible every day, and there were things that I was doing that didn't go into alignment with the Word of God, and she was calling me out for it, and it just didn't sit well with me, because I was just like, I don't want her telling me what I can and can't do, and she was like, but it's what the Bible says, But I wasn't willing to admit that I was in the wrong. I was very stubborn and unwilling to change.
Yes. Well, it sounds like during that time that both of you kind of realized that God was doing a work in both of you and how to grow together and approach each other in that growth. So then what happened after that?
So one day I was just like, okay, I think I'm done with this. So I gave her a call, and I told her that I just didn't like the way the relationship was going. I wasn't ready for a relationship, and I just felt super attacked, and I just wanted to just do me and be single. And that's when we broke up.
All right. So then, Madia, what happened to you after that?
So we broke up, then I finished my program, and I went back home to Colombia.
All right. Okay, so now we've come to a place where we've got to take a break. But when we get back, Madia's going to finish sharing some of the things that she had to deal with while she headed back home. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, Angela here. Do you have a remarkable story with an extraordinary outcome? Well, if you do, I'd love to invite you to submit that to us at itsagoodtimetobeyou@gmail.com. We would love to review it for consideration, and who knows, you might just find yourself on our show. So enjoy the rest of your day, and remember, it's a good time to be you.
Welcome back, everyone. And so here we are with Lance and Madia Henderson talking to us about dating God's way. And Madia was just taking a stand, as we found out in our last segment, standing on a biblical principles and what God had told her about her future husband, and knowing that it was Lance, however, not seeing all those qualities and all those characteristics, and having to maybe address these issues, but then also having to learn how to grow in the process between the two of them. So Madia, when you finished up your program after you and Lance had broke up, you went back to Colombia. So what was going on in your mind? How were you processing this when you know that that's what God told you, that this man was going to be your husband?
I was very confused because I knew I had heard the voice of God telling me that he was the one. And at the beginning, everything was going great. But then when I saw those things, I was like, no, that wasn't the things that I was praying for, like in a man. So even though I didn't understand, I just decided to trust God. I was like, Lord, I did what you told me to do. I just trust you. And I wasn't like praying for him anymore or thinking that he was going to be my future husband, just trusting God that my future was in his hands.
Amen. You know, sometimes that's all that we can do, is to put that trust, you know, in the Lord and let God do that work, you know, and I think he prepares all of us for that helpmate that he has for us. And so he was preparing you for Lance as much as he was preparing Lance for you guys to be able to partner together. Yeah. So Lance, how were you processing the end of the relationship?
Immediately, whenever I got off the phone with her, I was relieved.
Oh, no.
I was like, okay, back to the single life. Everything's the way it should be. I'm done. If I stay single for the rest of my life, I'm completely okay with that, because I don't want to deal with no drama. So I was okay. I felt like, okay, now I can breathe. I'm at peace. So that's how I processed the relationship.
Well, probably, I guess maybe most men would maybe do the same thing. But when women have heard from God, you know, that's the one thing, is that we know that we know that we know, right, Madia?
Yes.
And so what happened to bring you back into each other's company?
Whenever we broke up and Madia went back to Colombia, it gave me a lot of time to really process everything that she had said. And I realized that she was right. As much as I hated to admit it at the time, she was right. And I began to make those necessary changes in my life. And I realized that I was a lot happier. I was hanging out with more people, I had more relationships, I was going out to birthday parties and events, being very social, not as isolated. My relationship with God got a lot better as well, and things were going really great for me, and I had her to thank for all of that.
And I believe, too, just as a mother recollecting, you even began to speak more in the opportunities in youth services and things of that nature. Yep. And began to, and other opportunities that were given to you, and begin to even share a little bit about your just personal story and testimony in life in general.
Yeah.
That's absolutely beautiful. So, Madia, what about you? What was happening in you? And how did y'all come together then? As Lance is making this discovery, okay, she's right. So did he just pick up the phone and call you and say, you were right, come back? Or what happened? How did you get back here?
No, I had no idea that he was thinking that or making those decisions.
So there was no communication, no contact?
Not at
Not
all.
at
For more
all.
than a year that I was in Colombia, I went back. I was working with another law firm. I had no idea about his decisions, and then I decided to come back to the United States to visit all my friends. And when I came back, he texted me. And at the beginning, I was like, oh, no. I already know him. I don't want to go back there. But then he asked me out, and I decided to go with him just as friends. And then that day, he told me about all the changes in his life, and he even asked me for a second chance. You can tell about that.
So backtrack a little bit. Whenever she came back from Colombia to visit here for a couple weeks, a lot of my friends were like, hey, so, your ex-girlfriend is here, and she looks pretty good. So what are you gonna do? Do you still feel some type of way? And I was like, no, let's just let bygones be bygones. Let's move on. The past is the past. And, when all was said and done, I never thought that I was going to end back up with her. And then I was getting my hair cut one day while she was still here from a very good friend of mine. His name is Tim Rice. He's my barber, and he was my mentor as well throughout our relationship. And he was just speaking to me and installing a lot of wisdom inside of me, and was like, listen, if you still feel something for her, you can't let this time slip away from you, because she's about to leave in a couple days to go back, and you may never see her again. So it's basically like now or never. And I was like, you're right. So I picked up that phone and I texted her, asked her out, and a couple days later we went out, and I was able to tell her everything and get it off my chest. And it was definitely a now or never point from then, because she was going to go back like 2 days after I had told her all that. So then she ended up staying, not because I told her everything, but an opportunity came up, and she was able to stay here for another month. And I went on a vacation to West Virginia, an annual fishing trip with my dad.
Yes.
And then when I came back, she was still here, and we started talking more. We went out on a couple dates, and then we made it official to become boyfriend and girlfriend.
Obviously, you got married and engaged. So when was the date?
So we got engaged August the 11th of 2019.
All right.
And then very shortly after, October 13th, 2019, we got married. Wow. It was just one of those things where if you know, you know. So why not just go ahead and tie the knot?
I remember Lance talking to me and his dad. He called us up and he said, okay. He said, when you know, you know. And I'm going to marry this girl. I'm going to marry Madia. That's just all there is to it. Yeah, I know. And so anyway, I believe we have a clip of the, just a brief shot of the wedding that I'd love for y'all to see.
Madia, I never thought we would be here right now. All of this still feels surreal. I was starting to question whether there really is someone out there for me, someone who deeply cares and genuinely loves me for who I am. Then you came along, and regretfully, I ran away. And I was not ready. But after a lot of maturing, God decided it was time for a redo, and you came back into my life. But I had to work for your love. It took pursuing you every day and praying for you and doing everything I possibly could to get you to realize that I was ready this time and I wasn't going to make the same mistake. I am so glad you gave me a second chance, because now we are here before our friends and family, uniting as one. And I know for a fact that this is God ordained, and He is pleased with this relationship. You are a mighty woman of God who is strong, powerful, faithful, trustworthy, loving, caring, and the list can go on and on. I am truly grateful for a woman like you, and I thank God every day for allowing me to be a part of your life. And I would not be the man I am today if it wasn't for you. I promise to always pursue you, to love you and to cherish you and to honor you every day. Te amo mucho y estoy muy emocionado por lo que Dios tiene reservado para este matrimonio y nuestro futuro.
You are one of the greatest gifts God has ever given me. Trusting God to choose you for me was one of the best decisions of my life. He told me in 2015 that there was an American guy with beautiful blue eyes waiting for me. In 2016, I was in New York when God told me I would come to the South and meet you. It was July of 2017 during worship that I saw you and God said, He's the one.
It started when you said hello. Just did something to me. And I've been in a daze ever since the day that we met. You took the breath out of my lungs, can't even fight it. And all of the words out of my mouth without even trying. And I'm speechless, staring at you standing there in that dress. What it's doing to me ain't a secret, 'cause watching you is all that I can do. And I'm speechless. You already know that you're my weakness. After all this time I'm just as nervous every time you walk into the room. I'm speechless.
Wow. Lance, what was going through your mind at that time?
All I could think of was, man, she looks so beautiful, and I am the luckiest man alive.
Wow. Well, Maria, what about you when you saw him, just burst into tears like that?
I thought that just happened in the movies. I didn't think that could be real.
She wanted to cry too, but she didn't want to ruin her makeup.
I know that. But it was incredible. It was so beautiful. Like, words can't describe how beautiful that was.
It was truly like a princess and a prince charming moment for sure. But again, when God is in it, and a lot of times we think that we don't have the voice to speak into someone's life while we're in that dating stage. Mm-hmm. But I just want to encourage you out there that if you are searching for that person that God has, placed in your life, that you're going to build a life with, you definitely want to make sure that they are meeting the criteria that, the Lord has placed in your heart and what you're looking for. And it wasn't so much that Maria was trying to redesign Lance. She was really actually calling forth what God had already placed inside of him, which was the best of him. And so thank you guys so much for sharing your story with us today. So when did you realize it was a good time to be you, Maria?
When I realized God is faithful and He had an amazing man for me that is going to be the father of my children, and we have an amazing life to share together.
Beautiful. Lance, how about you?
Whenever I saw her walking down that aisle, and tears started streaming down my face, and then everybody was just bawling.
Yes, we were.
And that's when I really realized that it's a good time to be me, and like, this is really happening. This is what the rest of my life is going to look like. And just by, looking at this beauty right here, I know it's going to be an amazing life.
Amen. Love it, love it. Then why don't we tell our friends and our audience at the count of 3, it's a good time to be you. 1, 2, 3. It's a good time to be you. Hey everyone, to watch Madia and Lance Henderson's wedding video in full, just go to Madia Plus Lance at youtube.com. And remember, it's a good time to be you.